Hello there. You are watching the Incline with Crystal. And guess where I am? Aramax Air at the New Black Wall Street Market, here with Antoine and Toby, co-owners of Aramax Air and husband and wife team. Yay!
Yes.
We love it. We love it. So I've been telling you for some weeks that I'm coming to interview Aramax Air. So we want to jump right into their story. Before they came to the New Black Wall Street, I need to know the backstory. Our viewers need to know the backstory. Antoine, what is it?
Okay, so basically how this company came about, it started from a situation I had on the job. I was working for a warehouse company back in 2019. I suffered a severe hernia injury lifting stuff in the warehouse. I was out for a year into the pandemic dealing with post-surgery pain. They were sending me to pain management. I was getting these injections. None of it was working. They was giving me um, medication, Percocets, Oxycontin. All of that was having an adverse effect on my body. None of it was working. So that allowed me to seek natural pain remedies, which led me to essential oils and the many benefits of essential oils. So one day in July 2020, in the pandemic, my lawyer called me one day and he said, "Hey, if you don't go back to work tomorrow, they're gonna suspend your workman's comp benefits and possibly fire you." So I said, "Well, I can't go back to work. They haven't ruled out a second surgery." He said, "Well, you don't have to go. We'll go to court." Um, that was 2 o'clock one day. That day, it was July 20th, 2020. I'll never forget it. I was sitting in my car in our parking lot where we was living, and I was just wondering, man, what I'm gonna do now? Because even though they was only paying me $400 a week in workman's comp, it was something, and my wife was holding the rest down at the time. And by 8 o'clock that night, the Most High put this company on my heart, and we've been running with it ever since. We started in our kitchen. We started in Waldorf, Maryland, and we just started experimenting with scents, mixing, smelling different scents. What went together, what didn't work, and we would
Wait
go
now.
ahead.
You just said you were in Maryland.
Yes,
The New Black Wall Street Market is in Stonecrest, Georgia.
yes,
So you packed up, Toby?
Yes.
yes. So
Just like that. We packed up. Well, it wasn't that fast. We actually were in the middle of deciding, because we were doing pop-ups. When we started the company, after we were, mixing and we came up with all of our product line, we started doing pop-ups all up and down the East Coast. In the middle of the pandemic, we took off running and did not look back. We were having so much fun. We were doing a lot of grassroots promoting, building our customer base, and we were having a great time. And we came across, Antoine came across, looking on the phone on Instagram, the New Black Wall Street. We didn't know anything about it. It sounded fabulous and very exciting, and we were like, "Whoa, this is going to be epic. We need to be a part of this." But we also had another big event, because we were doing a lot of big festivals and pop-ups. But we had an event scheduled that we were thinking about going to in Detroit. And we were kind of in the middle, like, are we going to go to Detroit? Are we going to go to Georgia? And I said, you know what? We need to go to Georgia. This is going to be life-changing. We got to come down here to the New Black Wall Street. And we did a pop-up. We got in the car, packed up our stuff, drove 9 hours. I don't think we ever drove that far.
Is this not an amazing story, though? I mean, the
literally.
New Black Wall Street Market is an epic place.
Very
absolutely.
much so.
It's a place where you want to be a part of history in the making, in real time.
In real time.
But to stand here with a husband and wife couple who have, a business model, and they say, "Hey, we're packing up," in the midst of working, mind you.
Yes, I was working full time. I was working with the state full time. And it was a no-brainer. I mean, but it was a difficult decision. It was not something easy, because we have family, we have children in Maryland. So it was not an easy decision. We just knew that it was like one of those moments in time, like a shift was getting ready to happen, and that we needed to be a part of it. So it wasn't anything that we did not know that we had. It felt like you had to do it. And if you did not do it, you were going to regret it.
And as you mentioned, Antoine, not only that part, but the backstory of the medical issues that you were. So those challenges on the incline, right? We know that the incline is about moving up the mountain.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, past your adversities, past your challenges.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. And we, you know, we during the pandemic, we took this company from we did pop-ups in New York, Miami, Charlotte, all through the DC, Maryland, Virginia area where we're from. I mean, I literally, God told me, he said, after we came, we created the product, we had the packaging, we started with these car diffusers that go in your cigarette lighter, and we had our scents. And that was our first product. We didn't have any home diffusers or nothing. And God told me, okay, now you got the product made. He said, take the product on tour like a rapper. And keep in mind, during the pandemic, all musical tours had stopped. And I was like, take the product on tour. And he was like, yes. And I just started looking for these events in different places. The first place I came was Miami. We had found this event in Miami, and we went to Miami and we did this pop-up. We got to the pop-up. This I knew it was God. And we got there to the event center, and I said, I asked the lady that was hosting, I said, what part of Miami we in? She said, you in Little Haiti. I said, Little Haiti? I didn't even know, I would have never took my wife, me and my wife, Little Haiti, but God was leading us, and the people embraced us there. And then we were staying at the Marriott on Biscayne Bay, and it was a lady there, because God told me, he said, when you take the product on tour, I want you to do three things. I want you to do a pop-up, I want you to find somebody to carry the product in store, and I want you to get in and out of Uber and Lyft, and not only try to sell the product to the Uber and Lyft drivers, but have them become your sales representatives.
I love this, your faith-based drive. It is so important to believe in the higher power, higher than yourself.
Absolutely.
Especially when you're going through real life challenges.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? You got to think above your natural ability to do things.
Absolutely, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to make it. I mean, literally, when we were still deciding whether or not we were going to come here, we knew we had to split up, and we had never been apart. So we cried.
Yes.
It was not an easy decision. But when you say that God has given you something, you understand that nothing can come in between that. So as business owners, a lot of times we'll start off by saying, God gave me this vision, and then in a year you give up, or in 2 years you give up. But if you're saying that God gave you that vision, then you got to push through. You have to push through. And so that's what we did.
Right.
We split up.
And
that's so awesome.
We came here for the Harvest Fest. And we had done a few celebrity events. We was following DJ Envy from the Breakfast Club. He was doing these car shows.
Okay.
And we did the one in Atlanta. He was going to we went to Atlantic City. Then the next one was Detroit. So we was contemplating between Detroit, and then I came across the New Black Wall Street Harvest Fest, the first Harvest Fest they had. And we decided to come here, and we drove. I mean, we got in our car, we drove, and we got here. Set up was 7 a.m. We got here at 6:30, and we set up in the back,
determined,
and we didn't sleep for 24 hours.
Nobody was here.
We sold out. We sold out the first day, and Matt said, "Hey, do you want a permanent spot here?" And we said yes, and that's how everything went into motion.
So let's go back to that emotional part of how long have you been married?
We've been married for a little over a year, but we've known each other since we were kids.
So you're very close. I know these two, by the way. I've watched them. I see their interaction. I know that you're close. It's genuine. They're not just saying that.
Right.
And so when you said it was hard and we cried,
yes,
that touched me.
Right.
Because
we cried. I mean, it was just hard because it was just a how can I say it? It wasn't planned. It was something that the Harvest Fest was October 31st, Halloween weekend, and grand opening was Black Friday. We had a month to make arrangements to basically move, and we had
life. And tell your family. So it's not just you talking about it.
Right.
Get everybody prepared. But how you know that it was God is everybody got in line. There was no one that did not support us. There was no one who told us not to do it. It was no one, even to this day. All of the same people who have been beside us continue to support us. Yeah, they were all on board. Everybody was on board.
Mhm.
So we just had to go through the emotional part of like, wow, we're going to be apart. How do we do that? And then we're still figuring that out because I
Sure.
still travel back and forth from Maryland to here because we still have our responsibilities in Maryland. So we're still trying to make the full transition. But it's on. Like it's
I love it. I love it.
I mean, we're there. We're there. Wherever the vision is taking us,
Yeah.
we're there.
Yeah,
Yes.
it takes dedication, right?
That's
Very
right.
much
It takes
so.
dedication. So talk to me about Aramex Air as though I didn't know you. You know, for my Incline viewers, talk to them about, you know, some of your top sellers. Why do you think your customers are repeat customers? How are you getting new customers?
Mhm.
Talk to me about your product line.
Okay, so Aromex Air, we're aromatherapy company. We have all natural essential oil blended scents that we make. Not only do they smell good, they also are designed to cleanse the air. The essential oils and the ingredients act as a natural area cleanser. So we call these aroma disinfectants when you pair with a diffuser for your car, for your home, or business. And then we have,
May I?
yeah, sure.
Okay.
So let me-
And that goes back to the story as he started studying essential oils for the physical benefits is when we realized, because we didn't even know that essential oils, when you pair it with a diffuser, can become an aerial disinfectant. So that's how it all came together.
So the research.
Yes,
the
the research.
absolutely.
Not just, oh, we're going to sell something.
Right.
No, the research was critical.
Yeah, the
because
research
we wanted
was
to be
critical.
able to provide something to customers that was beneficial and helpful. It wasn't, you know, about a fragrance. A lot of people like the fragrance, but we always tell people, more importantly, this is an aerial disinfectant. And it's a prevention method. You know, don't wait until something happens in terms of your body when you get sick. Do things to try to prevent it now.
And you talk about being important and relevant during COVID-19.
Very
Yes.
much so. Yes. And that wasn't planned, right? It was like the vision came to him in the middle of the pandemic. And then it just clicked as you got out there and we started talking. It just clicked in terms of the community that this was a great product and it was something that definitely was needed. Yeah.
So give me your top three. Is it hard?
It's very hard.
Yes.
It's very hard. Far as
I can tell my top three.
Yeah, your top. Okay.
I can do it for today.
Okay.
So my top three would be definitely lemon. This lemongrass.
I like the lemon.
Oh
when
my
I
God.
smell
The
that,
essential
it was
oil.
fresh. It opened up
It
my
is-
senses.
Man,
Yeah.
lemon in itself is just great for stimulation and focus, but it's just such a very fresh scent. That's one of my favorites.
Okay.
Pink Rose, I think he let you smell that one. This is,
Yeah.
and all of these are top sellers. Pink Rose is a top seller. And look, I smell, the crazy thing is what when the customers come to smell the scents, I smell it as if I'm like the first time. I'm like, oh, it smells so good. And they're like, oh my God, they're going crazy.
Well, I mean, I think you have to believe
Oh yeah.
that you're selling a good product.
Absolutely.
And if you do believe that, you're excited about it every single time you sell it.
I call myself a fan. Like literally when we're standing here, I don't feel like an owner. I feel like a fan of the product because it is an amazing product. And I tell customers, I'm like, look, I know we're the owners and I'm not even trying to sell you.
Right.
I really do love this product and I wouldn't be able to sell it to you if I didn't.
And that's key. When you're buying products, I don't
Yes.
care where it is. Check out how the owners are acting about the product.
Right.
Will give you a good sort of sense as to,
Yes.
you know, no pun intended.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
You're right.
If it's going to be good, if you
You're right.
if they believe it, if
And
they
the
don't
customers-
believe it, that's a sign.
And they
You're right.
come back and they tell you, I'm like, I know you're going to come back. You're going to come back. Trust me. People are going to be asking you where you got this product. You're going to come back. We have all sorts of incentives for our customers. So we have a value customer program where customers can get discounts if they sign up for a subscription on our website. If you come into the store and you're a returning customer, you also receive discounts for that. We also have a recycling program. So these bottles, you can bring them back. We refill them or replace them and take off a discount. Also for the bigger bottles, we do the same thing. So we offer a lot of benefits for those who support us too.
Do you find that your customers enjoy diffusers or sprays, or is it a toss-up?
It's a toss-up.
It
It's a toss-up. It depends on the person. And for real, a lot of the customers already have diffusers, so they just buy the scent.
And I noticed that you sell some really nice, elegant
Yes.
diffusers for
Yes.
for the home.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. We try to always.
I'm
think
attracted
about,
to the one in the back behind you.
Yes.
Which one? The one in the middle?
Yes.
They love that.
Yeah.
Those two, they love those styles.
Right.
And we're actually getting some. We always try to like think about people's decor. Think about like what would you want in your house,
Sure.
because the whole idea is for it to not even really look like a diffuser,
Right.
and that's what they like about it. So and then we attract everybody. I mean, it's all ages, men, women, children,
Yes.
teenagers. Like everybody loves the product, so it's fun.
And
It's fun.
the sprays sell very well.
Oh, yeah.
They love the sprays are more it's a concentrated. So one spray eliminate any odor lingering to the next day. It's very highly concentrated, no cut on it whatsoever.
That's
so they
awesome.
sell very well because they can be used in the car, home, office, anywhere.
Antoine, you and I, so we're gonna jump a little bit deeper
Okay.
into owning a business.
Okay. Yes,
The
ma'am.
real stuff that
Yeah.
Mhm.
people don't see
Yeah.
on the incline.
Right.
You and I were on a panel recently about starting a business,
hmm
and I was touched. I don't know if you were, to see people in the audience who had come from a long way,
Right. I was too.
like
I was
from other
definitely touched.
states. They
Mhm.
drove in to be a part.
Right.
And so I took that opportunity as a panelist very seriously
Me too.
when I found out that people had come from distances to be there.
hmm
How did you feel during that time? You know, did it take you back to your start?
Yes, I was touched. It took me back to my start. A lot of the questions were questions that I had during the start, and a lot of those questions I learned through experience.
Yes.
Trial and error. I had to bump my head a few times to learn a few lessons about certain things. In regards to
Right.
business. Because a lot of this is self-taught. Of course, the internet, and you can go on YouTube and you can learn. You can study certain things, but the experience is really what has taught us. And I was definitely touched by people coming, and I didn't even know that many people was going to be in the room.
Right.
So I was a little nervous, and I said a little prayer to myself, and it just came out the way it came out, and we all did well. I was very pleased at our job and with the message that each one of us delivered. It almost is like we had huddled up
and
had a plan,
time, but
right,
we didn't.
but we didn't.
We didn't.
It
And that's
was
how you
so
know
in
it was
sync.
very genuine.
Yes.
It was very genuine, to be up there and be able to know what you're doing
Right.
at different stages. We may not, and there were people in different stages
Right.
in the room. So let's talk about some of the things that came out, that are relevant to our businesses, to your business.
Okay, so some of the things that came out was how do you know how to price a product?
Big deal.
And
Yes.
and that was basically knowing your cost of goods. With in our case, how much am I paying for? Are we paying for these bottles, the labels, the shipping and handling, the manpower, the diffusers, and from there, the cost of it, you divide the cost of by how many items you have. So if I got 100 bottles, and it has cost me basically $100 for these bottles, and I have 1,000 of them, I'm paying what? Basically what? 10 cents a bottle?
No, I need my
I think so. It's something like that. It's something like
Shelby's
that.
like, wait a minute.
1,000.
Hold on.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
so in our case, and then you'll know how to price it from there. You learn how to price it.
So are we talking 2 times your overhead cost, 3 times as it relates to your retail price?
I would say at least three times,
Three.
because and then you judge that by the area you're in.
Right.
You got to know,
Basis,
and then you can basically adjust your price by the customer base in the area that you're in.
Yeah. Can I add something?
Go ahead.
Don't undercut yourself, because I think so many times as Black owners we
Second
devalue
guess
ourselves. And then you'll have people who come to you and try to haggle you on your prices and get you to shift and make you feel as though that you're charging too much. But if you know that you have a great product, stand on that, and then you will draw your customer base. The ones who really want to support you, they will come. I remember going when we would do pop-ups, fabulous products, handmade things, and literally they'd be like, "Oh, it's $5." $5 for this.
Right.
I could go into Macy's or someplace and pay like $60 or $70 for this. So you're really,
And this is something
something
you just kind of hit a button. This is something that I always ask customers too when they want you to Jew down your price. And I say, well, would you go in Walmart
it
or
makes me cringe.
Target or Amazon
and haggle them on their prices?
Right.
You go into a high-end store, you go in there and you pay.
You would never go to the register and
Right.
say, can I get this for
It
Right.
feels like, it almost feels as though that, and that's why we do offer discounts in certain, the value customer programs and things like that. So customers can take advantage of sales and prices and stuff like that. But to just come up to you and ask you, well, can I get this? Can I? I'm like,
so you have to know your value.
You
Right.
have
to know
value.
the work
Yes.
that you put in, the
Absolutely.
care and concern that you put
Yes.
in.
Right.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because
Absolutely.
it's a lot.
It's a
you know,
lot.
business license,
Absolutely.
tax preparation.
That's
we
right.
talked about accounting
Right.
and hiring accountants.
Yes.
Right.
It's a
Like,
serious thing.
There's a lot of background costs.
This
Right.
is not a hobby. This
It's
is
not a
not
hobby.
a hobby. It's a business, and there is a lot of background. That go a lot of long nights. We get maybe 5-6 hours of sleep almost every night because we're up even after we close. We're still up.
So
coming
take
up
us
with
into that
innovative
space.
ideas.
What does it look like for you to prep for, let's say,
Oh,
a big
man.
weekend? What happens when Toby and Antoine, leave the market and they gotta prepare for a big
A
weekend?
big weekend.
Take us into that
You want to
space.
go?
Well,
He's
go
the
ahead.
night owl.
He's a-
He's the night owl, so I have to give that to him.
Okay.
He's the one who we figure out what each one of us is really good at, like our strengths. He's really good at our baseline and our products, and then he'll come back to me and say, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? So that's literally what we do almost every single day. We go home to figure out how can we improve, how can we make things better, how
to
can
reassess.
we reassess, how can we keep our price point low so that our products are not only good but they're also affordable. And then the other part of the accounting, which I really don't like.
I know. If you
It's
ask
certain
the
parts that you
average
don't
business owner, the accounting and the tax preparation part is something we could do without.
Right.
But
it's so necessary, right? You always
you got to do it.
You have to, the things that you do not like, if you cannot hire someone to do it for you, you have to do it.
You
There
have to
is no
lean
option.
in.
Right.
Lean in. I like that. You have to lean in.
And just to add on, preparing for a big weekend would basically just be about inventory for real. It'd be about us making sense, bottling sense, labels, stuff like that to know what we need to do to have the store ready for the weekend, for the
So
busiest
have you gotten
time.
to the point where you've enlisted manufacturers to help you, or are you still doing everything
We're
yourself?
well, we have manufacturers on certain things. Like we don't make the diffusers, of course.
Sure.
So we partner with a manufacturer for that. But
there's a lot of work.
We're trying
labeling, bottling, filling, the feel levels.
Right. So some of our goals for 2023 is to figure out mass production because we're trying to take our company to the next level. So it's about mass production and being innovative and seeing different things that we can add to the product line. What you don't see here is, okay, last year we made history. We became the first and only Black-owned company to manufacture plugins for your wall.
Yeah.
So
I saw that information on your website.
Right.
So I did
sold
a
out
little
right
bit
now.
of digging.
Right. So for every spray that we have a plug-in to match the scent. We just sold out right now, but we're just trying to figure out how can we increase our production on those type of things because they go so fast and things of that nature. We also looking for a second location that we can add to this because our goal is to have at least in the next 3 years, we want 4 locations throughout Metro Atlanta.
Do you all hear these long-term and short-term goals? Important.
Very important.
Waking up every day just kind of throwing the dart at the wall is not going to get it.
Yeah.
Right.
No, you do. You have to have an intentional plan. You got to be fearless. You got to really be fearless. I mean, you got to be, it's like, because we have, when I tell you some awesome ideas in our mind, and we just, okay, we want to do this. Oh, wow.
Right. And then when you back into it, it's like,
hold on. Wait a minute. which one do we attack first? How
Right.
do we strategically attack these? And then literally you're throwing it up against the wall and to figure out what's going to stick. But you know it's going to work because you go back to the original, God led us here. So it's going to work. We just got to figure out
have to work the
strategically.
process.
You have to put in your
You
grind.
have to work the process.
You have to put in your grind. It's not
too often
easy.
business owners or people who have hobbies or hustles, they get frustrated because it doesn't work right then and there.
Right.
And you have to start looking in the mirror.
Right.
You
Right.
got to
Right.
sit down with self.
Mhm.
You got to write some stuff out.
Right.
You know, really do your research
Research is
in the
important.
industry and the space that you're in.
Absolutely.
You can't compare an orange to an apple.
That's
Right.
right.
You got to know what the apples are doing
That's right.
and the
Absolutely.
oranges are doing
Right.
in order to really, because we're in a very competitive society
Absolutely.
globally, not just in the small spaces where we are.
Very much so.
And so you can't just kind of live in a silo and think that someone's never going to compete with you.
That's right.
Right.
In
It's
commerce.
always, competition is important. I mean, you know, just in the country in itself, you know, you want to have choices and options. It's only fair for consumers to have choices and options to go someplace. But how you make your product or how we make our product different, one, we attach our story to our product. That's important. So when, you know, you can have similar products, but most of the time customers connect with you because of who you are as a person. What is the foundation of your company? What is your belief system? You know, why are you making this?
Right.
You know what I mean? Why should I support you? So that's important. But yeah, you got to have the competition, and we research our competition, and we have a lot going for us. You know, these are all natural, non-synthetic products, so you don't have the chemicals in it that you would have in other products.
And you're so passionate. You talk
Very
about
much so.
customers. You have to think like a customer.
Yes.
So
Right.
you have two hats when you own a business.
Absolutely.
You have to think like the business owner, and then you have to put yourself in the shoes of the customer.
Absolutely.
When he makes stuff, he'll make new fragrances, and he'll bring it to me. Like, what you think? No.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't buy that if I was a customer. I wouldn't
That's
buy
right.
that. And our product needs to be consistently the same. When you came here 6 months ago, you want the same product that you had when you come back. So
Quality and consistency.
Quality and consistency is very important to us.
That's right.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
awesome.
And integrity.
Integrity.
Big deal.
Yes.
Big deal.
Big deal.
Yes.
You know. So early mornings, late nights, early mornings.
Early mornings.
Early mornings, but I don't know, because sometimes my mornings be like,
Yeah.
I can't get up
But
now.
I'm definitely late night.
He's definitely late night. Yes.
You know, I just, you know, I live, breathe, eat.
A romance.
A romance.
That's it.
I mean,
and you know what? I've gotten to the point now, just as from husband and wife, I'm just like, you know
Yes.
what? I'm just gonna let him have it.
Like
Yeah.
a
you know,
romance.
right.
It's our life.
yeah,
It is our life.
because when that lawyer told me, if you don't go back to work tomorrow, they're gonna
Right.
fire you. I don't want nobody to have that type of power over me again.
That's right.
So I don't want nobody to disregard my health and make me feel like my health don't matter. You know, so that's part of the fuel that keeps me going. And I have another story that I'm a returning citizen. You know, part of my story is we were originally from Virginia. When I was an 18-year-old kid, I made a mistake, caught a case, and I came to Atlanta as an 18-year-old kid as a fugitive, and I was arrested in Atlanta.
Don't start me
and
crying.
I was in Fulton County Jail on the 7th floor as an 18-year-old kid, and I never saw the streets again for 21 years. And this was my girlfriend at the time. You know, this is my girlfriend at the time.
Okay, wait. You're hearing this on the Incline.
Yeah, this
Right.
is exclusive.
I
This is
am
because I don't tell this to a lot of people.
Yes.
Okay, this is real life.
Yes, this is real life.
This is real life.
Right.
18
years old.
And you didn't see the street for how many years?
21. It was 1994, and I came home in 2015.
Antoine, you're standing right here as a business owner. Are you aware?
Yes, and it's a redemption for me to be here. It's more than just, you know, a business. This is to be. That was part of the reason coming to the New Black Wall
Are
Street
you all
as
hearing no excuses? Because
Right.
I
No
hear
excuses.
no
No
excuses is
Right.
what I hear.
And taking control, taking control back. Because I can remember when he came
Take
home.
your life back.
Take your life back. I was there when he was knocking on people's doors and asking for jobs and getting denied, and
Right.
rubbing coins together, trying to figure out how we were going to make it work, and
Right.
him going through his own his own rebuilding of himself, because
Because you have to acclimate back into
Right.
society.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
That's a long
And there
time
was
to
no
be
support.
out of
And
society.
and that's how I got to the warehouse job.
Because even technology, everything
Right.
has changed, right?
Everything
Right.
has changed.
I was
Everything has
on
changed.
parole for 5 years. I worked in that warehouse for 5 years before I suffered my
And
injury
he hated
that
it.
led me to this.
He hated
And it's
it.
like God fast tracked my life, with
Yes.
this. And
That's
I'm
what
back,
we always say,
and
God
it
fast
feels
tracked your
good to
life.
be back as a business owner
Mm.
and not a fugitive. And it's a redemptive feel. It's redemption for me. So being here at the New Black Wall Street, making history with all the other business owners is more than just money to me. It's redemption. It's
I
purpose.
hope for everybody out there who has a story, it's the nobody knows my life story.
That's right.
We see each other in our communities, passing by each other.
Right.
You may walk into the New Black Wall Street and see this lovely business and this couple here, but you don't know their story.
That's right.
Right.
And so no excuses. Find attach. Come and talk to Antoine.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
If you're not sure how to climb up, I always tell people, attach yourself to people who are doing or moving in the way that you want to move.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
If in your circle you're comfortable and they're all sort of in the same,
something's not right.
right.
And,
You gotta
and
change your circle.
this past August, we went back into the Fulton County Jail for
Yeah,
the
I was gonna
first
say
time.
Really?
I took my wife into jail. We was with Wallow. We was with about 10 other millionaires. The son from the owner of Chick-fil-A was there. It was like they said it was $250 million in the room
Wow.
behind us, and we got a chance to talk to the guys in there. And it was like it was full circle for me because I had never went back into a jail, to tell my story, and to be able to tell it to somebody that was sitting in that same position was definitely full circle and
Humility.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So I'm thinking when I first start talking to you, I'm like, oh, Antoine, how did it feel to talk to people who are trying to start a business?
Right.
Which was life-changing too,
Right,
right?
yeah,
Because
absolutely.
it brought it full circle. But to talk to those who are incarcerated,
Yes. Young.
young,
18,
kids.
19, 17. It was
Mm.
it was unreal. It really does put life into perspective. Because if you're trying to start a business or doing a business, it's not about money. And we talk to a lot of millionaires, and they will tell you, like, I have money. I remember the grind. I have money. A gentleman came over. He was just like, I have money, and I wasn't happy.
Mm.
You gotta have purpose
You do.
behind what it is that you're doing. You gotta find a way to service your community and service people. It has to be bigger than just you want to be rich,
Right.
because that's miserable.
It
and
is.
You just have to find a purpose.
Right. And for me,
I'm
that
speechless.
moment is
Look,
that-
you're watching the Incline with Crystal, right?
Right.
I'm the host of the show, but I am really speechless and
Right.
overwhelmed. And I hope that those of you who are watching, watch and share, because I think we all know somebody
Absolutely.
in our families, in our neighborhoods,
That's right.
who have been incarcerated.
That's right.
absolutely
Right?
That's
We're
right.
we're all not that detached
Yes.
right.
Yes.
from that.
Mhm.
And to see Antoine, he's standing right here.
Yes.
Yes.
And this is a beautiful store.
Yes.
You
Thank
know,
you.
it's
Thank you
lively.
so much.
There's energy in the store. There's life,
Yes.
right?
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
They have the decor. It's on purpose.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we came up with and it's funny, like the colors. I never even thought of
Yeah,
it like
they're
that.
some of my
Yeah.
favorite colors,
Is-
by the
are
way.
they really? They're gorgeous,
Yes.
aren't
Yep.
they? I love it. Yeah, but I
Yes.
never thought of it like
Tranquil,
that. Yes.
turquoise.
Mhm.
Yes.
You know,
Very
the
inviting.
yellow is energy
Yes.
and sunshine.
Yes.
Yes.
Light.
Yes.
Yes. And I would
Absolutely.
attribute all that to her. The colors, it was more about
Okay.
what represents
Oh.
freshness and life
Okay.
and vibrant. And,
Yeah.
Okay.
that was her. The name, I'm going to be honest, I was in the restroom one day and God, I just yelled it out.
It just
A
came out.
Romex Air.
A Romex
Romex
air.
And I was like, you know what? That sounds absolutely amazing. That sounds.
Yep.
I mean, literally from and what I would say to business owners
Mhm.
is, if you really truly believe that God has given you a vision, figure it out. Do not have a plan B, because the plan B is what allows you to give up.
The excuse.
It's the excuse. But I'm gonna go even deeper. When you do that, you're doing a disservice to all of the people that is supposed to be attached to that dream. That vision is not about just you. It's about who the jobs and people you're going to be able to employ, the people you're going to be able to service your product to, whatever you decide to do in terms of giving back to the community, once you're able to in terms of
the ripple
finances over
effect.
time. It's the
That's
ripple
right.
effect. So there's thousands, if not millions of people you will disservice once you give up on your dream. That's how I look at it.
And one other thing, when you have an idea and it's something you haven't really brought to fruition yet, tell as less people as possible.
Oh, that's another
I'm a
If
witness.
it's
Yes,
not
Lord.
somebody you about to partner with, seek an investor. If you
Quiet
but
is key.
quiet is key,
Yes.
because
Quiet is key.
I mean because you would
Yes,
get
Lord.
defeated in the spiritual
Yes.
Before
realm,
you even
you
get
know,
started.
before you
That
even
is
get started.
so true.
Because
Thank
other
you for
people's
dropping
fears
that.
and limitations and some hate,
Well,
but
Uncle Johnny tried to do that.
And that didn't
yeah,
work.
yeah, so keep it to
Yes.
yourself until you able to bring it to
till it
light.
comes to
Till
light.
Right.
And
It's
write
born.
it down. Write
Right.
it down. Write your vision and make it plain. Literally write it down. Push yourself every day
Pray
to
about
contribute. Pray about it. Push yourself every day at least 30 minutes to an hour to contribute, because some people are trying to do this while they're working full time. They have children that they're raising. They have a family. Take at least 30 minutes to an hour every day to contribute towards doing something towards your dream, whether that's research, whether that's just jotting down ideas.
I'm glad you said that, because sometimes people, when you look at the larger picture, it can be overwhelming.
Yes.
And it can cause paralysis.
Exactly.
Right? Paralysis
exactly
of the
what
mind
happened.
can happen to you because you're feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So then when you have paralysis of the mind, you do nothing.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right?
It's too much.
It's too much.
Yes.
When my mother told me, one piece of the mountain at a time.
Right.
And when it compounds itself and you look back, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm at the top of the mountain.
That's right.
How did I get there?
How did I even get here? You look back and you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe. Mindset was a big one for me. Mindset was a big one for me. Realizing that the whole idea of creating generational wealth for your family was something that wasn't necessarily taught to me. What was taught to me was go to school, go to college, get a good job. And that's what I did. And that's what I was telling my kids. Go to college, get a good job, and play it safe. So I had to train my mindset to want something bigger and to want something more. And that was just about being around Antoine, because he was just like on fire. It's infectious.
I have a different appreciation
Yes.
for y'all now. I do.
Yes.
I mean, I've respected you from the beginning.
Yes, ma'am.
Of meeting you. It's just that vibe.
Yes, ma'am.
But wow.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you.
Thank
You
you.
know,
Appreciate you
taking
too.
time. When I originally approached you about being on the Incline, you were as excited about it as I.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
know, and so I really appreciate that.
Appreciate you having us.
Yes,
And I
very
hope
much
that
so.
everyone who's watching, that your life has been changed by watching this segment. So take care. We'll see you the next time on the Incline.
Thank you.